Hi guys! I'm here today to do my slightly delayed December wrap-up and what I hope to read in January. I know it's like halfway through January, so I tried to lessen the amount of books that I have, but I still want to tell you what I hope to read. I start my apprenticeship this week and I start school the end, so I will not get all of these books, but these are my goals, and anything I don't finish, I will just carry over into February, which I will have a little bit more time in a full month. So the first book I finished reading in December was Wildflower by Drew. I like this book. I gave it 3 stars. It was a little bit like all around for me. And I know that was kind of the point she was doing. Like it wasn't a linear story. It was kind of like random pieces of her life. I would have liked a consistent story, but I know she did it on purpose. So it just wasn't my favorite type of a memoir. I like a continuous story, but that's just me as a reader. But I really liked learning about her life and seeing her through her own eyes and learning more about her daughters. It really didn't talk a lot about her drug addicted past. It really glossed over that. I know she had written a book when she was much younger about that time of her life, so that's probably why she didn't focus on it. So, and that book is called Little Girl Lost, I think, and this is Wildflower. But I liked it. Gave it 3 stars. It was a really quick read. I think I read it in like 2 days. So, but December was super hectic, like with school and everything else in life. So I really didn't get to read as much as I would have wanted. I only got to read 4 books. So yeah, but one was about 800 pages. So that's why it took me so long to read it. But that was the first book. And then the next book I read was Something Strange and Deadly by Susan. This book follows a character named Eleanor, and she lives in England in like the 17 or 1800s, I think, and she winds up getting accosted by zombies, and her brother is like she thinks her brother's been kidnapped, and it's a really interesting mythology about zombies. And it the first book takes place in London, so it's a very complicated world. There's some romance brewing, and it's a very fast paced read. It was very creepy. I like that, and I thought it was very interesting. And I thought the character of Eleanor was very interesting fit in the 1800s. She's a very kick butt heroine, and if you like kick butt girls, I think you really like her. And then the circumstances was really interesting, and also the side characters you got to meet, and it was just like a very fast paced. You never knew what was coming. It was all like a very like on your edge book, and you were very anxious to know what happened to all these characters. So I really enjoyed it. I mean, I think some of the aspects of this books were a little bit predictable, just because I've read a lot of fantasy. Um, but I really liked it. I kind of knew where the book was going, but there was a lot of unexpected twists along the way that made it a very worthwhile read for me. And after that, I read Something Strange and Deadly, which is the sequel Something Strange and Lovely, which is the sequel to Something Strange and Deadly. Complicated titles, but very apropos. And this is the sequel to that book, and it takes place in Paris. So Eleanor moves, and the story gets a whole lot more complicated, and you meet a new character that kind of brings up some situations about the other characters that you didn't know before, and the story gets even more complicated, and Eleanor starts to experiment with some things that maybe her friends don't want her to. So it's a very interesting, a very fast-paced read, and the end left it off, and they're going to a new location, and that's where Strange and Ever After comes in, which I will read in 2016. It will happen. I don't know when, but it will get read. So I was very pleasantly surprised about this book and cannot wait for Something Strange and Ever After, which I will be reading soon. The next book is the reason that everything got so backed up. I had to read Winter by Marissa Meyer, and this book is 826 pages. It is a beast. So this book took me a while to read. It's not surprising that this book is 800 pages because it has 4 basic lead characters and then all these other guys that are kind of leads. So it was a monster, but I love this book. It was amazing, incredible. I'm going to do a non-spoiler / spoiler review of the series. So the first few minutes will be non-spoiler and the rest will be a spoiler about this book. But it was amazing. It just took me a while to read it. It took me about 2 weeks to read it. But if you think about it, I read 3 books in that time. So this was all basically 3 books, which was great. So I really loved it. I was really excited. And this is how I start. And this is the first book that I completed in January. And then, if anyone has been living under a rock and has not seen the promotion, the Shannara Chronicles premiered on MTV I think last week it premiered. So I got this at Comic-Con. This is by Terry Brooks, and this is the Shannara Chronicles. This is the first book, or the book that the series is based on. I think there's a sequel to this too. I don't know how it's going, but I wanted to read the book before I started the series. So I kind of knew where it was going. And I like this. I think it was slow at points. I think this book had a lot of battles in it, and for me, battles, like the terminology of battles, tends to get very, very tedious after a while, and I tend to zone out. But I think on a screen it will be a lot better. I've always felt that way kind of during Game of Thrones. I love the the court intrigue and all that stuff, but the battles kind of lost me. I kind of felt that in this, so it dragged a little bit for me. But I really like the characters, and I'll love to see like how MTV changes it or makes alterations, because that's what you do normally to a book adaptation. But Terry Brooks was very excited about this when I met him, so I will, now that I've completed this, I can finally start on the Shannara Chronicles, and hopefully I'm not too far behind. I think I'm like 3 episodes behind, which is not that bad. And then the next book I'm going to start tonight is All In by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the 3rd book in the Natural series. I have been watching Scorpio on CBS for about the past month. That's what I've been doing. I've been watching a lot of TV. And this is kind of like the YA version of Scorpio. Geniuses or profilers that have these genius minds and they have to solve crimes. So this one takes place in a Las Vegas casino, and it's the 3rd book in the series, and I'm so excited to start this. I've been waiting for this book since about November, so I'm very excited now that I finally have it in my hands, and we'll start reading it, and I'll give you guys a full spoiler review when I am done. As I talked about in my previous videos, I really would like to read The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. And this book is going to be made in a movie at the end of the month, so I hopefully want to read it before then. If not, I just want to read it. It will probably be one way or the other, but I definitely do want to read this, and hopefully after this I'll get to read The Infinite Sea. And then the next book I would like to read is Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. This is the 1st book in her duology series. It's also the book hype pick of the month for January, so I must read this. And this is all about time travel, and it sounds amazing, so I'm very, very intrigued to read it. And then the last book I hope to read is The Da Vinci's Tiger by L.M.E. Eliot. This was the Owl Crate boxing for December, so I hope to read this soon. This book might get read before The Fifth Wave, to be honest with you, because it's so little, and that book's a little bit longer. But I do want to read all these, and there's so many other books I want to read. But these are just what I hope to finish reading in January. I will be sure to do my full wrap-up at the end of January, and I'll give a little bit more information. I'll do my spoiler reviews and all that stuff about it. So just keep a nose out. But I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll talk to you guys later.